By the way, I don't choose to use hard drugs anymore. I was using heroin already when my girlfriend died. Well, I wasn't. We had already broken up, but still, like, my ex girlfriend, my good friend. And, like, after that, in my early 20s, I kind of just was like, I'm gonna do a whole bunch of stuff. Like, why not? Like, let's just see what stuff feels like. I was very curious, you know? Always have been very curious. I did a lot of crazy stuff when I was a kid, too. Like, fucking one time I was just like, what does it feel like to be shocked? So I cut a fucking like a plug that goes in the wall that it was like into a VCR or something. I cut it, plugged it into the wall, grabbed it, and it hurt like hell and it jolted me and I felt like shit and I cried and I had black all over my hand. Like I was a weird kid too. But yeah, I'm not using drugs like that anymore. The only thing I'll do is alcohol and I'm not going to use it regularly again. I'm glad I stepped away from that. I'm going to get some special stuff for the holidays and everything, but yeah, I'm not really doing that stuff anymore. I just like I went through a period where it was interesting and everything. And there's nothing wrong with drug use, too. I don't shun anyone that chooses these things. I mean, they're pretty much everything. I kind of agree with Hamilton Morris. Like, a lot of things we should research and see the benefits because obviously people use them for a reason and everything. I can't even use. I mean, cannabis is a beautiful tool that should be available for people that need it and everything that benefit from it, but it's bad for my psychosis and it makes me hear voices and it's terrifying. I used to do it all the time. That was my first thing like that. And even it'd be a terrible idea. Some people, you know, take stuff for ADHD and stuff, amphetamines, which that's a serious drug. It's basically meth. And like that would fuck with me too. I used to enjoy that a little bit. I mean, I would take that every once in a while and just like feel so busy and everything, you know. That helps some people. It's terrible for me. These days it would be a terrible idea because my mental health has gotten serious. I need my medication and I do super well with my medication and without using other medication or drugs. But kratom is beautiful. You know, that's a great buzz, and it helps with my tardive or my dystonia that I get as a side effect and everything. I wouldn't be able to work and everything without it. I know it sounds like some people would be like, "What? You don't like nod out while you're driving and stuff?" It never makes me nod out. I don't use that much. It's nothing like heroin. I mean, it can help people get off of heroin, and if they do large amounts, it'll help with withdrawals, and you'll feel a little bit of that opiate sensation and everything, opioid. But still, like, this is all I need is my medication, kratom. I've really been enjoying the lion's mane. That helps with focus in a better way that isn't like, holy shit, I am high as fuck. You know, different things, different people use different drugs for different reasons. It's valid, and, you know, again, cannabis should be legal. It should be for everybody that needs it, benefits from it, and different things. Like everything should be researched and studied well. I mean, all sorts of stuff. And even like it's interesting. PCP, like I did it like twice, I think. Yeah, twice, and that was very unique. I've never had an actual ego death from anything except for salvia. Salvia, the first time I did it, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know any of my life. I was just like viewing another realm from the sky and shit. Well, the intro was very scary because it was like everything was spinning. I was just like a part of this spiral that was just, and it had like parts of memories and stuff and fears from my childhood and stuff. It was like this overwhelming, like, holy shit, I didn't know this was possible. This is unreal. But then, like, it launched me into, I was not me and I was in another place. But PCP was interesting because you get this detached feeling. It's almost like you're like you're like someone else viewing your life and stuff, and you get this. It's nothing like DXM or the time I did. I've never had a K hole. I'm sure that that is very intense. One of my old friends was like one time he came back out of one. He's like, there were aliens. I need to get back there, and he did another big dose of ketamine and went like, he was gone. You can't talk or anything. I had a low, moderate dose, it was basically just like detached calm. Like, I think sometimes it can be very trippy and you might get a little unnerved and everything, but I was like, it was serene calm. And like I just sat there in this really cozy computer chair listening to that Our Oceans album, and it was like, holy shit, it was so relaxing. All these, it's like so many dissociatives and different things, they're all so different from one another, even though they're like classified in the same class and everything. Like, they're all so different. Salvia was nuts. And that needs to be studied greatly too. That has not been studied that much, but there are people that have reported helping their depression and just increasing zest for life, and it makes sense. Like I said, that when I came back from it, I was like, holy shit, I'm me again. Feels good to be me again, you know. Whatever uh, this place that we're in, that we talk to humans and love on animals in and everything. Interesting stuff, but yeah, I've done so many things. Like that list that I made, what was it? I've so many fingers to count all the drugs I've done. And luckily I've never been an addict. I just was curious and I tried so many things. I mean, I was addicted to cannabis, and I like used that as a band-aid, and I may have gotten an autism diagnosis and everything, you know, as a teen and stuff, had I have not been just so out of my mind with that, because it's different for everyone. Some people can just come home from work and be like, this is the most relaxing thing ever. It was also it was always very interesting and sort of trippy for me. It was very intense, you know, even when weed was weaker back then. And again, I'm not going to use anything, even weed. I mean, I haven't heard of someone getting fentanyl laced weed, but the United States is crazy. There are some greedy, fucked up people and everything. I'm never going to use anything like, even cocaine has been laced with fentanyl and stuff. Stuff that it's not even an opiate, but they're like, oh, let's put fentanyl in the cocaine. Like, a lot of people have died because of this epidemic and everything. Even like in North Carolina, like in Charlotte, this city, there was like an epidemic, like specifically, I'm pretty sure. You know, definitely, if you're gonna do these things in the United States, especially, get a fentanyl test. You can get them on like Amazon and stuff, I found. Very accurate and everything. Please be safe out there. I don't shun you again for using drugs. There's nothing wrong with it. If you have a problem, I hope you get the best help and you recover and everything, because that is very valid too. But I'll never be, you know, that would be the most hypocritical thing. Is that how you say it, hypocritical? It sounds weird because it's got critical in it. But uh, yeah, if I used all these drugs and then all of a sudden I changed, and then it was just like, it's kind of like the news from A Perfect Circle. Like, really, like, good for you. You're so much better than everyone else, even though you did the same shit back in the day. You know, that would be fucked up. You know, I don't think I'm better than anyone else. I'm just happy to be out of the place that I was in when I felt so bad for myself and everything. And that has continued into my 30s and stuff. Again, yeah, when I was feeling lonely and drinking all the time, and it was just making it worse and worse and everything. Uh, all sorts of stuff. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out because I'm not somebody that's like smoking PCP or injecting ketamine all the time or anything. You know, certain things I'm interested in, maybe, you know, like, even though I have paranoid schizophrenia and it's the last thing I need, whenever I find out that my health is deteriorating, if I get some sort of diagnosis and I'm like, oh shit, this really sucks, part of me wants to do mushrooms one more time. I have lorazepam and I have my perfenazine, so I could kill the trip if I really needed to. I've never done that before. uh, Even at like the worst times, I've stuck with it and everything. But you know, there's always that. If it really gets to the point where it's like, holy shit, I'm gonna hurt. I'm like, something's gonna go wrong, or I need to go to the hospital. I can just pop a pill that I take for medication. The problem is, in order to feel it, you know, these things, because they're trip killers, that would mean I would have to skip doses of my antipsychotic to take mushrooms, and that's a recipe for disaster. And I don't know, like, it would probably be a very intense trip that would be, because it's like doing the opposite in the brain. It's like, oh, let's, instead of reducing dopamine, let's increase serotonin and get out of our minds and everything. This is a long video. But anyway, yeah, just wanted to point that out. I'm not doing these things all the time, but I'm no better than people that choose to do these things and everything. Anyway, love, I hope you have pleasant times.